Destructoid.
Cat. And we are live with Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast. Usually Eric tells me you're live. He didn't say anything this time, so I was like, do I just start? If you're new to the place, we react to Nintendo news and talk about the Nintendo games we are playing here on Spot Dodge. But this week's going to be a lot different. We're going to talk a lot of PlayStation and a lot of Xbox because the PlayStation State of Play just passed and the Xbox and Bethesda live showcase is just in a few days. And it's all very exciting. There's just a lot of stuff happening finally. We got Sonic, we got Resident Evil 4, we got Final Fantasy 16. There's just an unlimited amount of video games. But today, I have an awesome group of people with me, and I'm going to introduce them. Mary Stowe, social media manager and video producer. And host here at Destructoid.
News to me.
I was late to looking at my secret list that I always keep out of frame to stare at. Then we have John Frisha, indie developer and managing editor over at The Escapist. What's up, John?
Happy to be here as always.
Awesome. And then today, a new face, but a very old face if you've been around Destructoid for a while, and it is Dan Romer, video editor here at Destructoid. How you doing, Dan?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, I know things, and
he knows
things
all
I know
the things
have landed me in this place. The rendering's real bad in this prison. You gotta forgive it. Unreal Engine, real buggy, But
Yeah.
I'm unfortunately trapped here.
For the audio listeners, Dan is literally in a prison right now. He is streaming next to his toilet. Anyway, lastly, we have
his toilet actually.
It looked like a toilet.
Toilet
This
slash
is a little
sink
bench.
slash.
Okay. So he has no toilet in his cell, so
We'll figure that out.
And then lastly, we have Greg Vargas. Greg Vargas, writer at PC Invasion and streamer over at Dynamite Giraffe. How you doing, Greg?
Doing pretty good. Hola, papi.
Now, I did say last but not least, but technically Eric is last but not least. Eric's on the ones and twos, streaming this show from his supercomputer. Thank you, Eric. We love you. Now today, guys, there's so much news to go over already, and the real stuff hasn't even started yet. But before that, let's get into what we are playing. So let's start off with Dan, who wants to definitely talk about what he's playing.
Yeah, oh man. So if you're a longtime Podtoid listener, I played too much Red Dead Redemption 2 and talked about that back in 2018. It was months on end. Ironically, the first time I'm back on a podcast, I'm replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 because initially I was going to be doing the video review for GTA 5 Definitive Edition, but then the Snapchat show started, so that got sidelined. But I got a copy anyways. And I don't know, I got the itch after playing that to play the superior Rockstar game, so I'm back on that again.
Are you playing the single player or the multiplayer?
The single. Nobody plays Red Dead Online.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's touched Red Dead Online. Come on.
Yeah, the single player is freaking fantastic. I waited a few years to play it, and I was an idiot because when I played it, I was obsessed with it. Such a good game. John,
Slow burn, but it's worth every minute.
Exactly. Awesome. John, what have you been up to? I'm assuming Yakuza 5.
Yes, I finished it.
You finished it,
so now I'm ready for Yakuza 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Yakuza 5. It was 5 different characters this time, and I completed maybe 25% of the entire game, and that was 50 hours, 52 hours of gameplay.
Good God.
Wow.
These are some chonky boys, but I can't get enough of it, as evidenced by the fact that I've played 7 of these games in a row now.
That is insane.
I'm here for it, and I'm all ready for 6. But 5 had one of the most contrived and absurd stories I've probably ever seen. And if you think that it's brilliantly written art, you're probably stupid. But it's really, really fun, and I heartily recommend it to everyone. Yeah, right.
The video on screen right now.
A snakeskin suit.
So 6 is the last one, right? And then it's on to Judgment.
Yeah, because I started with 7, which is like a dragon, which is a new character. So I'm excited for 6 because it wraps up the whole saga of the main character of all the games up to that point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Mary, what have you been playing lately?
So I'm continuing my Fire Emblem streak. I'm free of Radiant Dawn, so I've been playing Fire Emblem Echoes on my 3DS. I finished Astral Chain, so I really
Nice.
liked it. The ending was a little funky, but altogether, like I really liked it. And then
Your problem was like the pacing with the ending.
yeah, like it felt like it was done, and then it was like, JK, it's not, but it was like a very brief pause, and it was like, okay, now you're really gonna be done. So it's just this kind of weird, like, pacing issue at the very end. But altogether, I really liked that. That was a lot of fun. The combat I really thought was new and fun. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And that's it? Just Fire Emblem, nothing else? And Astral Chain?
Trying to think, was there? I played Unpacking for the first time.
Nice.
After I finished Radiant Dawn, I needed a break because the final fight in Radiant Dawn was very stressful for me. So I played Unpacking for the first time to kind of like relax, reset. It was really cute. There's actually a little bit of a story to it, which I wasn't expecting. But it's a really cute little game. So
Awesome. Eric already has it up on screen. That always interests me. It's on Game Pass. It looks relaxing, and I heard there's an actual good story to it, so I might check that out.
Yeah.
It's a GameCube by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's got lots of fun little like retro game, or I don't know, they consider the GameCube retro now. Like
Kinda, yeah.
there's a Game Boy.
The Wii is
Right.
basically retro now.
My partner
Yeah.
said the 3DS is retro, and I just
God,
Wow.
man.
Yeah,
the rule is like
3DS.
anything over 10 years is retro, and I just
Ugh.
2011 3DS. I'm like, I guess so.
No.
By
I just
that
want to
logic,
drive my car
that's
into
your
a
logic.
river.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you need something just fun, short, sweet, Unpacking's a really good one.
Awesome. Greg, how is Apex Legends going?
It is going great. Actually, no, it's not. This season's been like the biggest grind ever, and switching up game mechanics and legends and play styles and point systems and the way people play together. I'm still struggling to really find a solid team. I feel like I was making some good progress and finding some good people to play with, and kind of reverted back to where I was previous seasons. But I'll still I think the fun factor is still there. I still enjoy playing it. It's just, I've been taking more breaks now to go pick up other stuff. And like you said, one of the things we're going to talk about is the state of play, which got me super excited to jump back into Street Fighter. So I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter 5, trying to learn how to use a fight stick. It's a lot tougher, but a lot easier in some cases than I remember it being. So I'm excited to kind of learn a new skill, because I just never was good with a fight stick.
Yeah, that's why I sold that one too, because I was like, I'm never gonna use this.
Yeah.
Now, is this true? Speaking of Street Fighter, are they adding like Smash style controls to Street Fighter 6, or did I just hear that wrong?
What?
Kind of, yeah. They're introducing, like, it's optional of a new control scheme where it's like, I think it's you push a direction and you hit like a special action button and it doesn't move. And it's like a way to like ease in newcomers, because fighting games can be so complex. And I think that's a really good idea.
That interests me because I love Smash's control scheme. And that's the only fighting game I play, so this might actually get me to play Street Fighter 6.
See,
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued by this new like 3D, that on screen, this new 3D single player story mode.
That's
Like,
cool too.
Yeah.
that is
news to
not
me.
something we've ever seen in a Street Fighter game before. And like,
It looks
I
like
have
Yakuza.
yeah, right? Like, I have to imagine this is in some way a response to like all this different stuff that like Mortal Kombat 11 was trying,
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time I've been like really excited about a Street Fighter since like I was like a little kid. Mostly because I suck at fighting games, but this is something I can at least sink my teeth into.
Yeah, it would be
I
cool.
feel
Like,
they.
sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I feel like they finally have the budget to add in a lot of the elements that were missing from Street Fighter 5. Even like one of the other things that they showed was like during the versus screen. I think this was only shown yesterday, that you can push like the directional buttons and you can like make emotions. You can be mad or be intimidating, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why? But that's kind of dope.
Yeah, they control the facial expressions. You can scowl on demand.
Nice.
Yeah, which is in stark
Soul Calibur
contrast
did
to
something like
Street
that.
Fighter V, where they had advertisements on everything.
Well, there's still time for that, Greg.
We'll get
This
there, yeah.
scowl brought to you
I
by
hope.
G Fuel.
That'd be hilarious.
Have one of the characters crack open a Monster Energy or something.
Yeah, like right in their face. It like splashes on their face in the opening.
The final
God, I
battle of
would
the
hate
game,
that.
you've almost defeated M. Bison, but then he's like, think again. He pulls out the monster, guzzles it, his health is back to max.
Oh no.
Yep. But yeah, it looks cool.
There we go. Norman Reedus knows.
Okay,
Yeah, Norman
there
Reedus
we
Monster.
go.
They actually patched that out in the new version. He
Did
doesn't,
they
he doesn't like
really?
Monster
Did they
anymore. Yeah.
really?
I
Huh,
would
that's
imagine like the
interesting.
campaign period ended or something, maybe for like the definitive edition or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
Sucks
was
for
shocked
them.
that like people were shocked whenever that report was coming out that Sony was going to start putting ads in their games, like they already did with Death Stranding right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greg, you play anything else aside from Apex?
Played some Apex, Street Fighter, Rocket League. I was trying to fix my PS3, and so in the meantime, I just booted up to check all my DSs and stuff. So I tossed in Contra 4, and
Nice.
I hadn't played it at all, and I didn't even realize it was done by Way Forward. So played a little bit of that, and really liking the animation style in the game, and it's something that I think generationally, I think I just skipped over because I don't know, I just never really picked up a DS other than like the DS Lite and the DSi for like random games, but not for like the full library. So played a little bit of that.
Nice.
Contra is another game where I'm like, yeah, I know that's really awesome, but I suck at it, so I'm gonna just politely stay away from it.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I have been playing so many games this week. It's insane because I've just been starting a bunch of games and then not finishing them, which is pretty unlike me. But I started KOTOR. I started that last week. I talked about it last week. I'm playing through that for the first time ever. Please, no spoilers in the comments or anything. I'm still really liking it. I just left the planet that had all the Wookiees.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah, and I'm looking for star maps at different planets. That's what's going on. I still know really nothing about Revan, but the character really intrigues me. The main villain's pretty intriguing as well. What's his name?
Malik.
Malik, yeah. So yeah, it's all really good, and it's cool seeing like the roots of BioWare when it comes to this style of game and how this would eventually change into Mass Effect, and then
Yeah.
like Dragon Age. Like the character relation stuff is there, which is what I always really loved about BioWare's games. But aside from that, I also started Infernax on Game Pass. It's I don't know if it's like a full-blown Metroidvania, but it has like that feel to it. I think it's more like a classic Castlevania where they weren't so Metroidvania, they were more like level-based.
It's inspired more by Castlevania 2, which was the open-ended one.
Yeah, it seems more like that. And it's really good so far. Very challenging. I'm playing it on the easier mode and still having a lot of trouble with it. But
Yeah, I played a little bit
presentation
of
is
that.
really good. Yeah, that's it right there. It just looks like a straight up like classic like NES or SNES game.
More blood.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm also playing. Well, I'm continuing Fable 3. I won't really talk much about that. I also started Eiyuden Chronicles Rising on Xbox Game Pass. This is like a sort of like a retro feel, but it's like modern, beautiful graphics. But it's like a side scroller. There hasn't been that much that happened in the story so far, but just like going out into the wilderness and like collecting supplies and stuff and bringing it back to the town so far has been really just addicting and fun. The gameplay is nothing super complicated or crazy yet, but the presentation is just so damn good that I just keep playing it because I just want to keep seeing more of the environments.
Well, that's good to hear. Because I've heard the whole game is very fetch quest heavy, so if you like that part, you're in luck.
Yeah, exactly. And I've honestly a lot of the dialogue I've just been skipping because I'm like, I know this is all just set up. Like I know this is not important. They're just teaching me how to play the game.
Yeah.
But I heard the story was decent, but I don't really know if I'm going to pay much attention to it. I might just play it for the fun and not really for the story, which is also unlike me. And then lastly, I've been playing Super Perils of Baking. This is a game I actually got sent to me by, I don't remember who the review distribution company was, but it's developed by Lilymo Games. And full disclosure, this is a developer owned by a podcast company organization that I really love. So I'm a really big fan of the owner and his organization of Lilymo. So you can take everything I say with a grain of salt, but it's not all positive. This game has been really good. Eric, if you can put that up on screen, it's called Super Perils of Baking. The presentation, honestly, it looks like it's ripped straight out of 1993. It's just like a full-blown Super Nintendo game. It's by far their best looking game because I've been playing all their games just because I listened to the podcast. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this game. I'm going to support them. I think it's their best looking game so far for sure. I actually never seen that cutscene that's happening on screen right now. I don't know if that was just for the trailer or what.
Sounds like a conspiracy.
But the gameplay is like a combination of like, I want to say like Super Mario World, and it has some like Donkey Kong elements, Donkey Kong Country, because there's like these minecart levels. And if Brett was here, Brett was supposed to be here and talk about it with me. We've both been playing it, but he couldn't make it. We love the minecart levels. The minecart levels are amazing, but they're so short and there's not enough of them. And I just wish there was, because those are like some of my favorite parts of Donkey Kong Country and now this game as well. Then I have some other notes. Some other notes I wrote down just because I wanted to speak a bit heavier on this game because I actually got a review code for it.
This is sounding suspiciously sponsored, Brett.
Yeah, and they actually sent me this shirt. No.
Show us your underwear.
The challenge has been pretty good so far. It's not like a super hard game, which I was surprised about. The only levels that I've had trouble with, and it's probably my biggest gripe for the game, are these balloon levels where you're like holding onto a balloon and you like float around the level. And I feel like they would be fine, but when you're not pressing on any direction on the joystick, you're automatically floating up at all times, which makes sense. You're hanging onto a balloon, but that can really screw you up when you're trying to maneuver through the level and then you forget, and it's like, oh, I went up, so I hit an enemy and then I died. That's probably my biggest gripe with the game, but all in all, it's not much to it. It's a $10 game, so it's a nice weekend game. I think I'm on level like 32 now. There's 50 levels, lots of trophies to collect. I'm probably gonna get the platinum, just because it doesn't seem that hard. On PS4, the PS5 one is apparently much harder. But I got a PS4 code because I heard the trophies were easier in this version.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, I don't think I had anything else. Just wanted to give this game its due. I think that's pretty much it. Super Perils of Baking. I think it's worth $10, It's a nice, cheap little fun game. And if you really love like retro games, like Super Nintendo games, I definitely think you should check it out. Now, who's ready to talk about that PlayStation State of Play that I expected to be absolute dog shit, and it ended up being really good?
Really?
That's how you really feel.
You had that low of expectations for it?
That's my expectations for like the Xbox showcase, but
What?
only because I don't really follow
Expectations are high
Xbox.
for
Jeez.
Brett, I think I just saw your Sony pony. It just ran off that way.
my soda. But yeah, the State of Play, I mean, they usually suck, so that's why I was like, this is gonna be okay. I mean, beforehand they said we're showing third-party games in VR, so I was like, that does not interest me right there. Like, yeah. I care most about Sony's first-party games, and I don't care about VR at all. But I didn't expect big third parties. That's where they surprised me. I expected, maybe something like Street Fighter, something I'm not really that interested in. That's big, but it's not like my type of game. But I didn't expect Resident Evil frickin' 4 at the very start. Right? I recorded my reaction and everything. Like,
they started with the release date. They didn't even start with like anything else. They started with the numbers.
Yeah, they started with the numbers. I was like, what's coming? Oh, okay, a date.
That was really rad.
Yeah.
That's like as straightforward as Capcom has ever been about anything.
Yeah, it's the release date first, and then they show the game. That's funny.
Because wasn't the previous like third party showcase like this? Didn't they do that to like really tame expectations? And I felt like the one before this was like really like everybody's like, oh, okay, now I get what they're going for, which is kind of different this time around to say that and then pull out the big guns right away.
I could be wrong, but I think one of the more recent ones was like focused on like indies and stuff. And like, I mean, an indie showcase is never gonna like set the world on fire unless you're like making like, I don't know, like Hollow Knight or something.
Minecraft 2.
There you go.
I think.
Damn, why didn't I think of that?
Like Nintendo, sort of, they have different names for their stuff. So they have Indie World, they have Direct Minis or whatever. But PlayStation right now only has either it's like the PS5 event or it's a State of Play, and that's when you usually tell like the State of Play is not going to be great, and then the PS5 event is going to have like everything that we want to see. But every once in a while, a state of play will come along and be like, you know what? Let's just show them all the good stuff. So we got Resident Evil 4 Remake. Of course, I have tons of thoughts on this.
I bet you know the name of every single voice actor in that whole game, don't you?
Well, I know every single
Continuity,
voice actor that's
continuity,
not in the
continuity.
game. I was very sad to see that they are sticking with. I mean, I should have known. Since they recasted Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 2 Remake, they've kept him for the Netflix show, and then they kept him for something else that I can't remember. So I should have known he was going to be back in this one. He's just not my Leon. Like, he's not. And
not my Leon.
I have to like try and shut off my brain and just remember the original game still exists. The original game still exists. Because it's going to change so much stuff that I don't want them to change. I mean, if you look at Ada, she's wearing a sweater. Come on. She's supposed to be wearing a dress. It's like iconic that Ada wears a dress.
Maybe it's a sweater dress.
It's not a sweat.
It could. It could be.
Sweater dress.
And then, so we did hear some voices though. Leon, of course, it's bad. But Lewis, whoever's playing Lewis, that's a spot on Lewis. I accept it, and I am all in for Lewis. It might be the same guy, probably not, but that's a good Lewis. Sadler, I'm still iffy on. He sounds a bit different. I'm assuming it's Sadler. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounded like someone who was trying to play the same type of voice as the original Sadler. But all voice acting aside.
I just want to let you know real quick that I have absolutely no recollection of what any of these characters sound like in any of these games.
Come on, guys.
How many times have you played this, Brett?
I probably beat
At this
it
point.
80 something.
Honestly, like take 80?
80 something, yeah, across all platforms.
Like, for real?
Yeah. Because I mean, whenever I was a kid, I like on my save file, it has round, like it says round, so it tells you how many times you beat it. I was up to like 60 as a kid.
Holy
That's crazy.
And then as an adult, I've probably played through it like 10, 15 times since then.
I'd have a world record on your hand.
Yeah, right?
No way. I highly doubt that. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game ever. So I'm super looking forward to this remake. I'm probably going to play the original right before it, just so I can remember like every single little detail. I probably already know.
Yeah, because I'm sure you've forgotten so much from your first 80 playthroughs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really curious.
A little
Like,
fuzzy now.
what is exactly different? Like, I'll definitely know like the obvious things, like if they cut out like running back to the village at nighttime when it's like storming or something. Like I'm gonna notice that. But like little tiny things, I want to see like what's different. And I think it's gonna be a lot different, and that's fine. But it's way more serious. And Resident Evil 4 it's serious, but it's like the writing is so corny but so charming at the same time that. Yeah. I don't know. It has this perfect blend that I absolutely love. And the fact that it's like daytime in the beginning, I always thought made it way more scary. But it looks like they're changing it to nighttime at the start of the game. Which will inherently make it a lot different in terms of feel and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? I have plenty to say, but I won't keep talking.
I think it's too early to say yet on whether or not the tone will be completely different. But my big worry is like they're gonna like do the clock tower removal or something. Like, that's my worry, is that they're gonna take away from the game. I feel like if you're gonna remake a game and you cut things, you're kind of already stirring up. But hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, that worries me because Resident Evil 3 is a super short game and they cut content. Resident Evil 4 is way bigger. So I'm scared they're gonna cut a lot.
Yeah, so far all they've said is they're gonna modernize controls, which probably just means it'll play like RE2, and that they're going to like reimagine the story, but like keep like this like same like central thesis or whatever. And like there's a lot of wiggle room in how you apply the way they phrased it.
Yeah, I'm just
I think people are more concerned with like, how Resident Evil 4 comes out in the remaster versus like, I don't know, I'd probably hold it to this like the same esteem as like Resident Evil 2. But when they did both those remakes, Resident Evil 2 and 3, I thought they were excellently done. Mm-hmm. So like when it comes to, being I think Capcom in this case is like very careful how it does their remaster or remakes like this. And even though they did like cut content, I felt like, they modernized the game in a lot of ways, but, still had the original elements that you could, visibly see and experience within the game. So I mean, even if they do change stuff in Resident Evil 4, I still feel confident the direction, especially having played 2 and 3 originally, and then the remakes. I'm like, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Not that I beat it 80 times, but I still feel good about it.
Yeah, the thing about it is, like, no matter what they change, it's going to be hard for me to accept any change at all. If I'm being completely honest. Like, it's just going to hurt my soul. Like, any, like, because Leon's pretty funny in the game. Like, he'll flirt with the girls and he'll just say random things that are hilarious. And if it's like that scene and then they don't say the line, I'm going to be like, oh no. Why did they
Leon doesn't say, no thanks, bro, I'm
Exactly.
I'm gonna be a tiny bit salty.
Well,
What if
this
they give you
clearly
the
isn't
option
10
in a
out of 10.
dialogue tree to say it?
If they have dialogue trees, I'm already a little more concerned.
Yeah, that's weird.
I already have some other concerns, but what is
Flirt
this?
or don't flirt.
Oh man.
I'm just curious to see the rest of the characters because we haven't even seen Lewis. We haven't seen Krauser or Sadler or the Big Cheese or anybody, you know? So we did see Ashley a little bit. But yeah, they're doing like another event thing soon, right? Where they're showing off games that they already announced. So they'll probably be at that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's next Friday. No, next Monday.
Monday, yeah, the 13th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have so much to say about this for like probably every single week for the rest of the year. So I'll just save it and let's jump into Sonic, which was shown off. We've seen more of the game.
What about it?
We know what the combat is like. We saw IGN's preview. I assume everybody watched it and studied it. And I think the game still looks really good. I'm excited for it. Greg?
Well,
I'm with Brett though. I think it looks good. Like, I think it looks fine.
I'm telling you.
I'm not
It
seeing.
should not. This is a reveal. It should not
Where
look
are
fine.
all
It
the
should,
stuff
my
like
stock
Mary's
should
like,
be
that looks
blown off.
fine, and there's just like rails floating, guy in the background over there on that
Criticism
cliff.
coming from? Where were all these internet people when all the past shitty Sonic games were shown off? All of a sudden, it's like this huge deal.
I
that
was crying in a cold
Sonic-
shower while the
You
trailer
know how
played.
common that is?
Like,
You know
but
how
the
many people
hate.
shit on Sonic Boom?
Yeah, but like the hate level is so extreme, and I'm like, what I'm seeing doesn't match that level
I'm
of
telling
like
you, all
extreme
these people
hatred.
complaining. They haven't played a Sonic game since '93. I don't even
I've
remember.
played
what
every
the Sonic
mainline
game was.
Sonic
Was it
game,
out
and this is
93?
it's rough. I think that I think the key thing here is to real talk. I think the key thing is how they went about initially showing this.
Oh my god,
Having
terrible.
some dude
Yeah.
at IGN just capture like random.
It's
I don't
not
even know if it was
4K.
IGN.
Guys,
Just
this
capture random footage.
this capture-
is
You're right.
Wild.
you
to
can
me.
you can set this capture to like 2160p. It is not 2160p. It is lying. This game.
I mean, that could be YouTube processing
Yeah.
the video still.
Yeah.
Sometimes YouTube processes a 4K
I've
video in
checked
a
it.
million years.
It's been out for days now, like this original one, and it still looks extremely fuzzy. I swear it's the capture. It's not the game.
And yeah,
I think the game's
they
gonna look
used
a
a
bit better.
crappy capture. I don't know.
Like
Again,
IGN, I don't know
somebody
what
at
they're
That
doing.
Sega-
sounds
there.
like an excuse
No,
to me.
I don't even think it's an IGN thing. Somebody at Sega gave them the green light to be like, yeah, show 14 minutes of Sonic
That is the
just
problem as well.
standing
Yeah.
around a puzzle and
Doing
going on
stuff.
rails and
What's up
running
with all
around
this
aimlessly.
marketing lately?
Well, like if they wanted to do a 14-minute video, I feel like they should have scripted it and like
Yeah.
then cut it up to like do sections.
This
I mean,
puzzle right now
Yeah.
looks like a dumpster fire. Run over the blocks to solve the puzzle.
I like that.
Wow.
That breaks up
looks
the
fun.
monotony. Yeah,
I mean, that was
I don't
fine.
mind it. I don't mind it.
But
that's
just,
it's
yeah, the
interesting
raw
pacing.
The raw
I will
footage, the
say-
unedited footage is, I think, throwing people off.
With no
and I-
context, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
bizarre.
it doesn't look. I'm not hating on it. I'm being critical of it because I wanted it to be, something that they hyped up. That they said, this Sonic is gonna, whatever they said, bring back fans or do something new in the universe that impresses people, whatever. And like, frankly, this wasn't it, or this wasn't the way to present it. And like they, to be fair, they could have just added, like Mary said, script it, but also add like dev commentary. Even if it was in Japanese and translated, it would have given us some context as to what's happening on screen, what type of attacks, what things they're collecting to go to these gates, what kind of enemies they can expect throughout the game, the different environments, the different type of weather effects. I mean, they're showing different areas, but like it did none of that. It was just
Here's some
video
good
that Eric
footage.
showed.
Yeah.
And like they talked about these, going to these portals where you can play like the traditional Sonic levels, which is something that I mentioned before on the podcast, but like they should have shown that, because that's like the most recognizable and relatable part of Sonic, is seeing that type of gameplay, and they didn't show any of that. This isn't even close to resembling even like, I don't know, Sonic Adventure. Like, show something that makes me recognize that this is like a mainline Sonic franchise game.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the
they wanna
IGN
wow
footage,
people.
it's answering a lot of what, as in here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, and it's not answering any whys. Like, why are we doing any of this? Like, what is the context for
What's
what
the
any of this
story? Yeah.
is? Yeah, like it's like Sonic's jumping on that enemy, and he's spinning out round in circles several times.
Yeah, so like the article or like something I read was saying how him and like Amy and Tails got split up, so they're all looking for Chaos Emeralds. Just saying that would have put a little more context into what's
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah,
but they didn't say it. It was in an article. It's
it came
the
out
marketing
today.
for this and Pokemon is strange because like the Pokemon trailer I was not impressed by, but then they made a few tweets afterwards where they're like, this is the first true open world Pokemon game where you can go in any direction and take on the gym leaders or like whatever you're taking on in any order you want. I'm like, that's awesome. Why was that not in the trailer?
Right.
Sonic's the same problem. I don't know what they were like. Partnering up with IGN was a terrible mistake for this game.
Again, we don't know the details about that.
If only
yeah,
they had
it's
partnered
weird.
with Destructoid and the Escapist.
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. If they partnered with Destructoid and the Escapist, I had a 4K capture card. It wouldn't be fuzzy. I'd give it time to process.
Yeah. Other than
Exactly.
just whoever decided the plan of this is what we're going to show, I think they should have reconsidered the route they were taking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder like how these things slip through the cracks. It's just like whenever they first showed off Halo Infinite and it looked like an Xbox 360 game. It's like, how did you think that was okay? Like, what were you possibly thinking to think that this was acceptable? Because I 100% agree, the marketing for this game has been terrible. I just don't think the game looks that bad. I think it looks fun and enjoyable.
Yeah.
I still think it looks like pretty promising. Although I do agree though that it is weird how like they decided on like the somber like piano soundtrack like
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild like
Doesn't match that well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That's like something that you would see in like, oh, this is
floating
a
in the
free run
sky.
area.
yeah.
Explore and discover things, and then it lets you go.
I think it works for like when you're just running from like one point to the next.
Yeah.
But like when he was like fighting those smaller enemies and the soft music was staying, I was like, that's just kind of weird. Like play something a little more uppity while you're fighting at least.
Sounds like some indie puzzle game. Like that's the vibe I got from that soundtrack.
Yeah. That's that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, see if they would have made the open world look like Sonic Boom and had these same elements, I think we'd be having a different conversation about, what this Sonic game is. But instead, it
You
looks like it's
Sonic Boom.
Greg wants open world Sonic Boom.
the art style. I think this crosses
I like this
or
art style.
treads into a weird territory of realistic Sonic and Sonic, traditional 3D video game Sonic. So I think we had this conversation elsewhere too. It's like I don't know it just seems so disjointed. I don't know what it's going for. Is it going for realism? And what are these levels going to look like when it does come to like the 2D traditional Sonic levels? It's just I don't know.
My biggest hang up is as I'm groaning about the rails just in the sky, like off in the distance, just floating there. Like I'd get it if there was like platforms or like some sort of mountain around them, something to actually convey. Like, yeah, you go up these rails to the top of this mountain. No, there's just rails floating in the distance.
There
Just
should be
there.
mountains connected to them or something. Yeah.
Why?
I did like that
How'd
one of
they
the
get there?
enemies like
Just where they
made
go.
that like purple
It's just
trail
the
when they
rails
showed that
going,
other
yeah.
combat gameplay. Like that made sense to me. You're fighting an enemy and he's building a pathway and Sonic can run up it. But like those rails just existing in space. Like
But guys, that's
what
how
is that?
So crazy to me.
Like what I'm presuming will eventually be the case is that like because of like the very first teaser had kind of those digital effects, so like I'm assuming eventually the plot will say like this is like a virtual world and the reason why things are goofy like this is because it's part of that like pre-made world and it's going to be
We
a big
promise
cop
it's
out
not a
to
tech
explain it.
demo.
Yeah.
As someone who just played through 3 mainline Sonic games, there are plenty of environments that literally make no sense at all, and you're just
Yeah.
supposed to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
there's always rails. Like, why are there rails? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Sure, but I think of like Sonic Adventure 2, you're going down rails that are like connected to a path. There's at least like a foundry or some sort of context for rails, but just having them like up in the sky just seems like such a weird choice to me.
Yeah.
It definitely looks funny.
Yeah, and I think all those games have different, like I said, art styles. They're more like action adventure, Ratchet and Clank, like looking type, action adventure games. Whereas
Well,
like
Eric
this
has
has the
rails in
element of
space,
realism.
so never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those rails.
See, like,
These are
Those
very
rails-
realistic.
but look at the environment that this is existing.
Those rails have true purpose, unlike
Yeah.
Sonic Frontiers.
Like you know that
Yeah, you got me there,
like-
Eric.
astronauts from like the International Space Station were like, you know what would really speed this up?
Let's grind on our
We just had rails to grind. We did a lot of shit done.
grinds. Let's
If
put
nothing
grinders
changes
on
to the
our
final
shoes.
product, I bet you Sonic Frontiers will score about a 6.5.
That's what I've been saying. I'm like, yeah, it still looks like a 6.
I'm gonna guess
Really?
that Sonic Frontiers is gonna get a 77 on Metacritic.
Middle with a
Shockingly
solid
high.
60. Because if you, I recently for the Snapchat or for the TikTok show had to go find a bunch of Metacritic scores for an edit, and spoiler, they're all around 60. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna stick with the 60 bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do people forget that Sonic has never been that good, aside from a few good games, like over the past 15 years? Like, this looks like Frontiers looks worlds better than a lot of the stuff we've gotten.
I do
don't-
Which
question
isn't saying
like
much.
how
Exactly.
the executive
But I'm
side of Sega have been like, yeah, these Sonic team guys. I don't
They're
know.
the team. They are the team.
But at the same time, I imagine these Sonic games still sell incredibly well, just off
Yeah.
brand
Oh, yeah.
recognition.
Sure.
Kids
Yeah.
love Sonic, so I imagine like
Yeah.
that's the core reason of why they're still being made. They're still probably sell tons.
Yeah. Especially after how well the last movie did.
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah.
told-
With
I've told
movie
the
hype and
guys, like,
everything.
My niece all of a sudden loves Sonic and like she didn't know anything about Sonic the Hedgehog video games before these movies. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd bet good money it gets delayed.
I have a feeling it's going to get delayed, but I don't think it's going to necessarily look a whole lot different when it finally comes out. I just think
Yeah.
it looks like it needs a bit more polish.
Yeah.
And
I
apparently
think-
it was
I think-
already delayed like a year.
Oh,
Like
really?
this is the delayed version
keep
of the
pushing
game.
it back.
Yeah, it's been rumored for a while.
Yeah, I feel like Sega keeps doing what they're doing to a certain degree, but I feel like even more now than ever, they're very receptive to fan feedback. So
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the tragedy of it. You can't say they're not trying. This is them
Yeah.
trying.
Exactly. Now, guys,
try harder.
we've talked a lot of Sonic, and we'll continue to talk more Sonic in future episodes. But today is all about E3 or not E3 2022 predictions. So we got mostly Xbox and Bethesda stuff, I'm assuming, but we could also throw in some Summer Game Fest and possibly Nintendo stuff, since they might be doing a Direct any day now. We don't really know what Nintendo's doing. But I mostly have pretty much all Xbox stuff. Yeah, all this. So I'm not sure what you guys have, but I have 5. Does anyone have less than 5 or fewer than 5?
No.
I have like
All
only
over the
like
place.
nonsense predictions, so
So
yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
has at least 5, so we can start anywhere. All right, so
Yeah.
first
5
prediction,
for Xbox.
we're going to go around the table. No, just 5 in general.
Okay.
Oh,
We're going to go around the table. We're going to start with Greg, and then Mary, John, Dan. me.
Okay. Good. I'm not first.
Greg, give us your first Xbox or Bethesda or anything prediction.
I'm just gonna run down my list because I was just like kind of
One
milling.
at a time. We're going around the table.
Yeah, do
Oh, we're
one.
just doing one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
one.
we can like rotate.
Yeah, you're going to say one right now, and then Mary's going to say
Just
one.
anyone.
Yeah, anyone. Just say
Okay.
it.
Anyone on my list.
Just say
I'm trying
it.
to think of one. No, I'm kidding. So I think this year we will not see anything for Dead Island whatsoever.
Okay, that's a random but
That's very random.
safe prediction. So
Isn't that-
Dead Island 2, right?
That's not an Xbox like owned thing,
No,
right?
it's not.
Yeah.
But
No.
it doesn't have to be, like I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's just,
right.
So yeah, Dying Light. Wait, did you say Dying
Dead
Light?
Island.
Yeah, Dead
Dead
Island
Island.
2 got revealed before the gen even started, or like right around the time the PS4 and Xbox One gen
I want to say it was
started.
like 8 years ago.
It was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because we just made that TikTok. It was literally 8 years ago, like this month.
Yeah.
So yeah, that game, it's a safe bet that it's not going to be at the show, but the developer did say it's still in development. So I don't know.
Whoever
Watch
the
it
developer
finally
is these
show up.
days.
Watch
Yeah.
it finally show up, and Greg's wrong about this easy.
And
price.
it's releasing today on Game Pass. I'd shit my pants. Just bruh.
Well, I have a feeling Greg's gonna win this if he has all predictions that are safe like that.
Yeah.
Mary,
I've got
what's your
some
first prediction?
weird ones on here.
All right, I'm just gonna throw it out there in the universe. I get my hopes up every single time that maybe, just maybe, something Silk Song related will happen. This could be it. I think I saw something that they're hyping up, like big things are coming to Game Pass. I'm like, what if this is it? This is the moment. And it's gonna be on Game Pass like soon. I don't know. I can dream. I can
It's
keep
gotta
dreaming.
happen soon. I mean, I feel like that's a safe bet, to be honest.
So
Maybe it'll be on Game Pass. That could be that's a good Game Pass get. Wait, the first one has been on Game Pass forever, so
yeah, Hollow Knight has and I can't remember. I think when they announced it for Nintendo Switch, they dropped it the same day on the Switch. So like dropping it the same day may not be completely out of the question. I would probably stop watching that presentation and run to my Xbox though and start playing. So
I don't know if they would stealth drop a game like an indie game that's gotten
That
so
big.
much hype. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's literally what they did with Axiom Verge 2, a similar kind of game.
Oh yeah.
I don't
was
know
just-
if it's on the same level as Hollow Knight in terms of popularity.
No,
But-
probably not. But like, it is a Metroidvania that was like very
Mhm.
well received and has quite a following.
Still haven't played that. I still want to.
Yeah.
Well, Axiom Verge 2, like, I thought it was okay. Like, I like the first one a lot more. The
Mm.
second one, the boss fights became optional, which is okay, but the fights themselves suck as well. And like the combat in general is just not that good, which is weird because the first one was like very action heavy. So like he really overcompensated to critiques saying like, can you make the game easier for people who suck? He went like way too far the other way.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
John, first prediction.
I'll say that Perfect Dark will not show up.
That's a safe bet. John's gonna win
Ooh.
this one, guys.
Just because of like how much like behind the scenes drama apparently there's been, and now I guess Crystal Dynamics is taking like a much more active role in the development. So like it sounds like there might have been like enough like stagnation and like upheavals that maybe they're not ready to show anything yet. That's just my impression.
Yeah, I can picture that. Dan, what about you? What's your first prediction?
My first one's kind of a big one, but I think Death Stranding 2 is gonna make a teaser trailer. Kojima's gonna come up with it. It's Jeff's show, and if Kojima was gonna announce anything about Death Stranding 2, given all the rumors and Norman Reedus accidentally just we're doing that again out of nowhere,
Yeah.
probably gonna be there. That's my first prediction.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we are gonna see a game from Kojima Productions, but I don't think it's gonna be Death Stranding 2. I think it's gonna be like whatever that cloud-based game is.
Overdose.
I still think it'll be far off, but he's gonna do a wacky trailer that everyone will be like, what's going on?
What is going
Whoa,
on?
there's like crabs on the beach and stuff, all
then
that.
he-
Yeah,
And yet Jeff Keighley
Crep
will
attack.
be in the trailer.
I
Keely
remember,
will be in the damn again,
I remember Kojima, like after the first Death Stranding trailer, he was like, "Well, technically, the game has already begun." And I'm like, "What? What could that mean?"
And of course,
what's
it meant
the
nothing.
what's the teased game? Overdose or the rumored game?
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
it was like leaked basically. Like some dude was like, "Yeah, somebody sent me a build, so I'm writing this story about it, and here's what I know."
Interesting.
So it sounds kind of shady. But
Hmm.
so there's allegedly that game. There's Death Stranding 2, and as we've discussed before, Gematsu specifically claimed like months and months ago that Kojima is making a new Silent Hill.
Oh yeah,
These
yeah.
are all
That's right.
possibilities.
Kojima's a busy man if he's doing all this at once.
Mhm.
Kojima
Maybe-
fixing that bridge with Konami.
Yeah, right. Maybe
That they poured
Overdosed
gasoline
is.
all over.
Maybe
guys.
Overdosed is Silent Hill, and like Overdosed is the PT for Silent Hill. This is
Now-
totally legit.
Let me give you my first prediction. This is I'm going to start off with the end of the show. This is going to be the final thing they do. Everything's going to fade to black, and then you're going to hear this. Hang on.
We don't hear it.
Yeah.
You don't hear nothing?
Only when you talk.
When you talk, we do.
That's a
the
bold
Indiana
prediction,
Jones
Brett.
round, too.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna
What's
happen at the
going on,
end.
huh?
Wow, so
Silent.
Brett just told us that it's gonna have a Sopranos ending where it just cuts to
Basically,
black.
it's all just going to end, and we're never going to really know what happened.
We'll never know.
Okay, so it's going to go.
Major Nelson looks up and then black.
Indiana Jones is going to be the
Oh, yeah.
stinger of the show.
Ooh.
Bethesda shows off the game, and it's revealed that none other than Harrison Ford is voicing and doing mocap for Indy in the game as a younger version of Indiana Jones in an actual sequel to Indy 3, the film.
He
His
ain't doing
likeness
no
will be
mocap.
included, and he's going to use stuntmen because he's 98 years old and can't do it.
You're gonna bring him
And
out on
can't fly a
stage.
plane.
He's just gonna be miserable. What is this?
Yeah.
A what? Summer, whatever.
This is insane. It's not going to happen, but I could picture, just because I know Harrison Ford loves Indy. He hates Star Wars. He loves Indy. If he was told, what if we just put you in a game and you can act as Indy, and then we can show like your younger self on screen, and you can pretend to be like Indiana Jones again, and it actually looks super good. This is Machine Games doing this game. Like, it's going to be amazing, probably. And I think he would maybe consider being down just because he loves the IP so much.
I think he
Probably
would
not
like
that.
roll his eyes. All right, what's the paycheck? How many
Exactly.
lines?
Yeah.
All right,
How much?
whatever. That's the impression I get anytime like any of these movies are made. Now.
Yeah,
Does
I'm
Kylo
totally
shoot
with
me in this one or kill me or what?
Are we finally killing the second guy off?
Do I get my
Correct.
revenge or no?
Greg, what's your second prediction?
Let me see.
So sad you guys didn't hear the song. I guess the mic filter like removed it.
Yeah, it was treated
Yeah.
as background noise, which
I'm
is
gonna
quite
add
it
an
in
insult to John Williams.
So
I'm gonna add it
guessing-
whenever I edit the show.
I'm guessing people are going to get excited for whatever id Software has to show, but I have a feeling that it's going to be something like a new Quake game or something in the Quake universe. And I feel like they're going to lean towards a battle royale, and people are going to be unhappy about it.
Hmm.
I'm
All
already
right.
unhappy
They're
hearing
hyping it
that.
up.
Just wait, battle royale. Oh man.
I feel like that won't go over very well.
Yeah, because
But-
they went free to play with Quake Champions, and it was kind of a games as a service, and then it completely died off. And so that's the only thing that I can envision id Software working on outside of not bringing a Doom to the table is going back on their cycle to pick up something like Quake.
I hope they're smart enough to read the room on battle royale. I pray.
Yeah.
they're smart enough to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, Quake Champions died because of the game mechanics, and I feel like the only battle royales doing it good nowadays are because of the mechanics, and the ones that are here are the ones that are probably going to be here to stay.
Hmm.
It would be funny if PUBG's next like desperate play for relevance is like a Quake skin for like everything.
We're teaming up with Quake. Mary, what's your second prediction?
All right. So, assuming Nintendo does something,
Yep.
I just want to know the name of Breath of the Wild 2. Is it Breath of the
Ah.
The Legend of Zelda
Too important.
something? Is it The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2? I just want to know what it's called. That's
Keep
I
it
had that
simple. We
prediction
don't need
down,
a
too.
subtitle.
yeah, like they said before like it's too spoilery to tell right now. I'm like, what do you mean it's spoilery that you can't tell us now that we have to wait for? So,
I'm gonna guess the
Right.
word time is in the title. All right.
Yeah,
Word
I
time.
had a few names that I thought it could be.
Yeah.
I took some stabs. I said The Legend of Zelda Ganon's Revenge, which would have given away, the enemy and everything that they're going to be experiencing, or The Legend of Zelda: The Notes of Time, which would have given
Ganondorf
away
Strikes Back.
the main time mechanic within the game.
Yeah,
And
that's
then the
good.
last one I had was The Legend of Zelda: The Fall of Hyrule, which could also point
Ooh.
to,
Yeah, that's good.
But like the Hyrule Castle is rising up into the sky, so how could it be fall? Like it looks like everything's very up. I don't know. Yeah.
But what if
Zelda
that's like the goal is to
in
like
Hyrule.
raise Hyrule?
Mm. Skyward
Well,
Sword 2
maybe.
confirmed.
Yeah, like my impression is that whatever the title is that it will. My impression is that it will pertain to some central game mechanic that we have not heard about yet. Because I don't think they'd be worried enough about like spoiling a story element in a title to not tell us the title of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably like some type of mechanic that they're not saying, even though they showed off a lot of new mechanics in the first trailer, or the
I
second.
keep hoping that it'll like be like a co-op game. Even though I have nobody to play with, I just think it would be cool if it happens to be
I'll
a
play with
co-op
you,
game.
I'm
John.
hoping it's like it's split because I mean clearly we get separated, like Link and Zelda get separated. Like that much is clear. I really want to see like Link going about doing his adventure, his journey, and then Zelda falls down to the pits of wherever, and like I want to see her what she finds down there, her trying to get her way back up to the surface. I want to see kind of like a split, like you get to play as both of them.
So
Sort
the
of
mention of
thing.
co-op earlier, I don't know if Nintendo's there yet. There's still the friendless
Yeah.
thing. They're like, what? Friendless? Huh? It's still like, no,
RG,
we gotta
that's
add
a
the
fair point.
number. There's a what? Wi-Fi? Co-op seems
85 is in the
advanced, you know.
And you don't want to communicate verbally with that person, right? I mean, I guess we could give you a
Yeah.
phone app. Like,
Yeah, we'll give you a phone. Revive the phone app. There you go. Phone your friend to play Breath of the Wild 2. That's why it's called 2. That's the spoiler. It's 2 people.
Sean Long, RGT85, is in the comments, and he says Link will develop a coke addiction. And now we've been demonetized, so
Major plot element right there. That's the title as well.
The Legend of Zelda: The Road to Recovery.
Rehabilitation.
the road to recovery.
The real wild Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda. Can you spot me a ride? Now, who's next? I forgot.
is it me?
John, I think so, yeah.
Man, I don't know.
You wrote them down, didn't you? No?
I've been
Oh,
working.
God.
I've been working straight from like Sunday night to like right now.
If
So,
you don't have anything, we can skip it.
I'll make something up. All right. So there's gonna be a new like
Yakuza.
multiplayer party game for Xbox, and it's gonna
Alright.
be it's only gonna be like third tier characters, like Sergeant whatever from Halo, and like
Not Master Chief.
the first NPC that you meet in the first Fable game, whoever that was. It's gonna be like all these third stringers.
British
And-
child from
Yes.
Fable.
And the
Yes.
story is going to be them fighting each other to become a main protagonist in a game.
Sure.
There you go.
But really though, it's all about fleshing out the world. It's like it's going to be like Microsoft being like, "Look guys, like we have so many amazing characters. We don't even need Master Chief to sell you on the quality of our worlds. We have British Child. He's
British
special.
child.
He's he's going to be a star." And so yeah, they're going to sell that for $60. It'll be so
Game
important that it will not be on Game Pass.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's really a statement piece
All right,
more than
guys.
anything.
Not this one. Not this time.
Yeah. It's like it's not only like a smash killer, it's a we forgot what smash is-er. It's gonna be that powerful.
Okay. All right. That was
They're
terrible.
gonna be like,
Dan?
guys, we can do this. Sega sold Sonic on a tech demo. We can do this.
Dan, what's your second or third prediction? Yeah, we're on second.
Second, yeah, we're on
Second,
number 2. My second prediction is, again, very safe kind of bet. I think CDPR are going to make an appearance to the masses to be like, please forgive us. And I think, there's not going to be Keanu Reeves. They're going to come out all somber and be like, Cyberpunk. we got more of it, and they're gonna announce an expansion because I feel like
We're
they've
still
been
trying to
working on
fix it.
something outside of bugs, and I imagine they're gonna. The rumors have been flying around that like later this fall, so they gotta show something, right? So I feel
True.
like if there's gonna be a place they're gonna show it, it's gonna be probably the Xbox thing. So another safe one for me. I think there's gonna be a Cyberpunk expansion. Comments will be all, the live comment feed will just be a lot of L's and people typing Z and F.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see how buggy this is. And all those
Morbin
great
time.
comments.
That's all you're gonna see.
Yeah, it's Morbin time. Morbius and Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Great comments.
I wish.
All the time, great comments.
Am I next? Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
All right. Xbox reveals a digital-only Xbox Series X for $400 and teases more hardware announcements soon. That's it.
Bold. Operating under the assumption that there's going to be like resources for new hardware and stuff.
Apparently, if you want to make new hardware and use less silicone, it's possible right now, and you can actually produce more of it. But if you're
Yeah.
trying to produce the same hardware that you already planned originally, then it's harder. Something like that. I listened to a podcast where they tried explaining it. I don't fully remember, but I heard that if you try to make new hardware now, you might actually have a better chance at being able to create more units.
A cheaper digital only Series X probably is actually a smart idea to be like, yeah, here's that Series X and slightly cheaper digital only, because there's already people like complaining about the Series S and its performance, and it's weird.
my
There's like
Series
a
S,
weird technical gap between the Switch, the Series X, and these brand new consoles. It's kind of wild. Or sorry, Series S. So
I haven't
I
noticed
can
like
totally
a
see
crazy
them doing a
downgrade
Series X thing.
on Series S. I love my Series S. Honestly, I like it more than PS5, which is crazy.
What?
The Series S, the controller is 100 times better. It has quick resume. It has instant cloud saves. It's a perfect partner to my Series X, whereas my PS5 is not a perfect partner to my PS4 because nothing connects, no cloud saves unless you're playing PS4 games. I don't like the PS5 controller. I shut off all the extra bells and whistles. I know people don't like it. I mean, people don't like me, but they do like the PS5. Anyway.
I will say every time, like, I have a whole bunch of games in my backlog, and a lot of them I'm playing on my Series X just of all the improvements. The Xbox One versions tend to just run great now and everything. And as a result, my PS5 was like collecting dust for a while, and finally I went back to like a PS5 game, and I'll admit every time I go back to a PS5 game and the DualSense stuff kicks in, it's jarring. To be like,
I
oh
hate
right,
it.
these triggers, I gotta press them a little harder, and I
Do
don't
you
know.
like it or do you
I'm
dislike
kind
it?
of. I went initially when I first played around with PS5 and played with the DualSense. I was like, this is the greatest controller ever. Now that we're 2 years into this thing, now I'm like,
I'm not alone.
I could
I'm
do
fine
without
not
I
alone.
could do without some of the stuff.
It was cool for like
Updates.
Astrobot, and then after that, it got old, and I shut it all off because it didn't add anything to the experience. But
It's
I know John.
cool in Gran Turismo 7 to have that feedback, but that's again, it's like one of those very few games that I think of. It kind of reminds me of like the PS2 like analog controls. And I remember Metal Gear Solid 3, you could slightly tap circle to do different things.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool, but this is the only game that's ever going to use that. Great, awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I feel that I got a bad feeling DualSense in another 2-3 years will be the same way. Nobody will remember that's this stuff. Remember haptic feedback and all this wacky stuff? I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It seems like people love it, except me and you.
A lot of devs are like very excited to say that their game uses haptic feedback on PS5. So like I think that's gonna stick around, and I think the tech's
Yeah.
gonna keep improving there.
It is better than the PS4. I remember playing that infamous game and spray painting things with the touchpad and being like, wow, this
Oh my
is...
gosh, I'd forgotten about
Wow.
that.
Yeah, and the Vita, and using the back touchpad of the Vita to climb is, oh my god, dude. It's an
Yeah.
improvement over that stuff. I'll give it that.
We
Yeah, I
do
think
agree
it's really
there.
going to hit its stride when PSVR 2 hits, and
Oh, for sure.
people can
I didn't even think of that
experience the
aspect.
DualSense. Yeah,
Yeah, PSVR 2 is gonna be wild. I'm
Greg,
looking
what-
it
forward to
looks
that
pretty.
village. Yeah.
What's that?
What's your third prediction?
I'll do a Nintendo one. I feel like we're gonna get something Mario Odyssey 2.
Hmm.
That's what it's gonna be called, the next Mario game.
I feel like if they're going to continue on that same trend like Mario Galaxy 2, that I think the Mario Odyssey name has enough notoriety that they should
Mhm.
do a sequel that says Mario Odyssey 2 and people can be like, "Oh, cool, a sequel. Good. Like I know what I'm getting."
Yeah, because that was a launch title for the Switch.
Well, it was all.
Breath of the
Wow.
Wild was a launch title for the Switch.
Yeah, was
Odyssey
Mario
was a little later.
Launch
a little
window?
later?
A little later,
Okay.
yeah.
It was in the
Okay. I
holiday.
couldn't remember.
What was that, like
close
fall
it was.
It was a
2017?
near launch. It was near.
I think
It was
so.
around that
Okay.
ballpark.
Yeah, it was definitely 2017.
Yeah. I just
First
remember
game.
how close was the. So yeah, we're due for another Mario.
Yeah, not too long ago, I saw some dev that was talking about it, like bringing Mario into like realism. I didn't read the article, but I caught the headline, and I was like, I feel like those articles always seem to pop up with devs talking and stuff right around E3 time.
Wait till
It
they
just
see
kind of-
Sonic Frontiers. Yeah.
With Mario and Zelda, like honestly, I feel like new Switch hardware, like an actual upgrade in hardware, is probably next year. And at that point, you might as well just save Mario for a launch title. It's probably going to be gorgeous, just like how Odyssey was.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That'll be Metroid Prime 4 though.
yeah, the biggest launch title they could do, Metroid.
Super Switch or Switch 2? That's
Super
the
Switch would be an awesome name.
That would be a
played
really
on
cool
Super
name.
Switch.
That would be very cool.
I think it's probably just going to be Switch Pro, but I don't know.
That'd be too.
No,
I hope not.
Yeah,
That'd be
no,
too
yeah,
confusing.
that would just have a connotation of like being like a 1.5 sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that might be what they want, because it seems like they just want to extend the Switch lifespan as long as they can.
Maybe Nintendo have a pretty strict like 5-year cycle if you look at their release time frames, and we're coming up on 5 years. So
I think what's
something
gonna
is
be
happen.
it's past 5 years now. March was, but
No, there you go.
I think what's gonna be different is that like when the next Nintendo console comes out, I don't think support from first party is gonna stop on the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED. I think it's gonna keep going for like years after that. Like even when the next piece of hardware is out, kind of like how Sony's been doing with PS4 whenever the PS5's been out.
Yeah, like well, I mean at this point like it would be shocking if whatever the next console is doesn't play all Switch games, if it isn't backwards compatible, and
No, I
even if
think
it doesn't
that-
share the same like digital like eShop library.
It
Like I
has
mean,
to.
Mhm.
yeah, like at this
Same
point it would
Friend list that has no features.
well, you know, fingers crossed. That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, but what I'm
But-
saying is that all these old Switches, I wouldn't be surprised if they're supported with new Nintendo games for the next 5 years.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Like,
mean, it's just like
even
Xbox,
after
it'd
the
be stupid
more
not to.
powerful Switch is out. But
I
or the
don't
more
know.
powerful
Like I
one.
mean, again, it depends. Like let's see. I would expect a new Switch to come out in I would say 2 years. That would be my guess. 2 years. And I think when that comes out, I don't think that Nintendo would do cross-generation releases. Like unless it's like a special deal like it's done with Zelda. Like
Yeah.
that's just not something that Nintendo's in the business of doing. When they're
Mhm.
done, they're done and like
Neither was Sony.
they're not a company with
Remember whenever
mercy or
Sony
leeway.
said, "We believe in generations." That was his exact words over at
Yeah.
Sony. And then they didn't really believe in generations.
Lied through his teeth.
And then
Ridiculous.
Xbox got a bunch of shit because they were like, we're going to support the Xbox One for 2 years. And then it was like they said the opposite things of what they actually both ended up doing. It's just kind of funny.
I think though Nintendo have to like acknowledge that the Switch is doing crazy numbers, and that
Yeah.
surely somebody on that side of things on the executive side is be like, yeah, no, we still maybe need to maintain some level of like, yeah, the Switch is pretty good. You should play games on this and buy games for it still, even though we got a Switch 2 or whatever.
I
Yeah.
just see
Yeah.
trouble in the future, if you have games like, I don't know, like Call of Duty releasing, and then they have to make, a Switch Pro version, and then some weird dialed down, version of it for the original Switch or Switch Lite. I think in those cases,
third-party games.
I
will
think
have to run-
third-party games will just like not bother.
Strictly-
We'll see.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be up to the developers.
That
and
or
publishers to
cloud-based.
choose.
They could do that wacky cloud stuff that they've been
Yeah.
doing on the Switch.
God.
So
Terrible. Nintendo's cloud stuff is terrible.
yeah,
But
which I think is proof that they need some sort of hardware, improvement.
I'm surprised they figured that out. Like cloud gaming, what? Huh? Yeah, a vision of the future there for a second.
Guys, we still have predictions to get to. Who's next? I always forget. Barry, what's
Me.
yours?
I was gonna save it for later, but since we brought up Metroid Prime 4, I think it's time for an update of some sort.
For an
It-
update.
Yes.
Maybe just another brief, like just a little 30-second clip of something with the logo. I'm not gonna expect like a full trailer, a release window, anything, but I think now that Dread has come out, Dread saw such huge success.
Highest selling Metroid game of all time.
Yeah, it became the highest selling Metroid game of all time. I think it's about time for Prime 4 to get an update of some sort. And then I usually don't fall into like these whole, like, I don't fall into the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess HD for Switch, but Prime Trilogy for Switch would be a huge missed opportunity. So I think they'd be crazy to not do the Prime Trilogy on Switch to hold fans over until Prime 4, but also since the Metroid series, Metroid Dread, brought in so many new Metroid fans, the Prime Trilogy would be a good way to like introduce them to the Prime games.
Wasn't the rumor that they started work on an HD
Yeah.
remaster of the trilogy, but then it turned into just a remake of the first game?
Well,
It's
yes
one of
and
those.
no, but like
Yeah.
the short story version is that allegedly there is a Metroid Prime remaster slash remake, whatever you want to describe it as, that's like straight up like finished, and like Retro Studios is the one that made it. And
Mhm.
apparently they had started on that while Metroid Prime 4 was being made by like Namco.
Mhm.
And while they were doing the remaster, they realized, like Nintendo realized, okay, these guys can't make Metroid Prime 4. And then they brought it back to Retro while
Yeah.
they were still working on these remasters. So then all of a sudden they were doing both. And so according to the reports, Metroid Prime Remaster is finished. They can release it anytime, and it's kind of up in the air if they'll do the same thing with 2 and 3.
Those reports always like sound kind of funny. Like the game is done, it's ready to
Yeah.
go. Like I'm
That's
like,
why like
really,
I
That's what they
don't
said with Metroid Dread, though, and it was true. It was just done and sitting there.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I
That's why,
believe
like,
that though.
Mm.
I don't like to believe them too much, especially like I said with like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD for Switch. Like they've been rumored that like it's coming, it's gonna happen this time. Like for 5 years now, that's been a rumor. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but
maybe now's the time. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
now's a good time, especially with
Yeah.
the hardware drought, or they're not moving forward on any of their future consoles. And plus, like I think Nintendo's proven that before, that like at any given moment they can just what do I have in my deck here, and just drop Link's Awakening, or whatever the game is like that they've
Switch.
had completed. Yeah, well, not a Switch, but in terms
Yeah,
of software, I do
sequel is locked and loaded, it's ready to go.
switcheroo.
Anyway.
There'd be a Switch 2 announcement. 1-2 Switch 2 for the Switch
Oh my
2.
gosh.
Milk cows in 4K.
Do you have any more predictions?
Me?
Yeah, you're next, right?
Well, I was thinking like just Xbox before. If we're talking like the broad spectrum of E3-ish things, then yeah, I would say that whenever a Nintendo Direct does happen, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series will be announced for it. If not, there's just madness reigns in the world.
Dude, it doesn't make sense. What is Square doing? Why are you bringing these games to freaking mobile? Like, who on mobile is like, I want to play a 90s JRPG on my mobile phone? Like, do you know anyone who is like that?
John,
Hey,
My
I don't
brother,
know.
he's got some of them.
if you have a Steam Deck right now, that is one of the best things to play on the Steam Deck is those Pixel remasters. So they're
That's
all on
why
Steam.
a Steam Deck is to play those types of.
Play my 20-year-old Final Fantasy games.
Yeah,
There you
the
go,
old
bro.
release that only comes to
You
PC.
kid, but the Steam Deck is perfect for that stuff.
Awesome. Last year I know in my soul these are going to come to consoles because Square Enix loves money and they're not going to withhold something if it means they're losing money. That's just not their MO. It will come to consoles. But I couldn't wait So I wanted it for PC, but I wanted to keep my dignity if I buy it for Switch. So I had the bundle. I had my parents buy that as a birthday gift to me last year. So I get to keep my dignity when I buy it all again on Switch.
You have it all, and you haven't even played it.
No, I played 4 all the way through, and I'm like a third of the way through 5, maybe.
Didn't
Oh,
Square like just sell a bunch of their IPs for like an embarrassing amount of money? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
here's Tomb Raider for I don't know, whatever, a couple million. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's Tomb Raider.
They just
Yeah,
didn't
it was
So
want
I
low.
don't know.
It's Western. They don't care about their Western
Exactly. Yeah, they
properties.
like making
gave
money
it
off
that
the
away.
Japanese games. This is Western stuff. I don't know about this.
But yeah,
Can't
I
profit
could
on
picture.
Deus Ex.
I could definitely picture these coming to Switch, and it'll make like PlayStation people so mad if it has like a timed exclusivity on Switch before it comes to PlayStation.
I could see her like a timed rollout. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, what's your third prediction?
On top of Square Enix again. My final safe prediction: the next tier to be
4.
unsafe.
We're on
That's
4
why
now,
I'm
right?
here. No, we're on 3. We're on 3.
Okay.
My final safe
You're on
third
3.
prediction is I think they're going to show more Final Fantasy 16. That's the obvious thing. But I think they're going to end on a teaser trailer, for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Just to be like, yeah, remember this? Please continue being excited for this.
I would be so excited.
I think that's my final safe bet is they're going to show that in some form.
Do you think that's going to be at the Jeff Keighley show?
I doubt it. I feel like that'll be somewhere. Maybe. I don't know. Because, I mean, they seem pretty PlayStation focused, so it'd be kind of shocking to me if they showed Final Fantasy 16 to the Xbox thing. That made headlines. Final
15
Fantasy
had
16
Xbox.
was just yeah, but 16 so far has just been PS5,
only
PC as far as I'm
timed
aware.
exclusive
So
or whatever.
Yeah.
it'd be pretty shocking if they came out like, yeah, we're putting this Xbox so late.
It's an exclusive though, the Part 2.
We were
have to
keeping
buy
this
separate
exclusive
consoles.
as an announcement for like 2 months. It's our new strategy here at Square Enix to keep our announcements exclusives for a certain amount of months and then just announce coming to another platform. It's our new business strat. It's great.
It's within the realm of possibility.
My third one is, all right, Bethesda comes out. We get a full reveal of Starfield, finally, after all this time. But then, the kicker, none other than Tom Cruise will play a prominent role in Starfield.
I was on board
biggest
until
star
that.
comes to the Starfield.
No, a prominent role, not the main character.
But he's
because-
ushered out of the way because Harrison Ford also comes to the stage, returning
Exactly. But guys,
in Indiana Jones clothing.
there was a rumor a while back that Tom Cruise was actually in this game, and I just think it'd be so
Really?
funny if it was real. So yeah,
I mean,
think,
hey, to your credit, they've always had like insert celebrity person to do like lines for a character that'll die in 5 minutes. So
yeah,
they're doing it again. Tom
And-
Cruise did like introduce you to the world. I am from the Starfield and get fucking blown up or something. I don't know.
he's
Well,
he's like the intro character that like teaches you the ways, and then he
Oh,
dies.
exactly, like Patrick Stewart. You know, played the Emperor, like, immediately dies 30 seconds later. One of those
Tom
again.
know,
Cruise
I-
has said
I
that
could
he
see
wants
that.
his next movie to like literally go to space. Like he wants to film a movie in space. So there you go, Starfield.
No, he's in
There you go.
space.
Yeah.
Close
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. I'm going kind of balls to the walls, but that was my third one. Greg, what about you? Let's go a little faster because we still got to get to
All right.
two.
So I think they've probably have been letting the air clear with all the open world games, Horizon, Dying Light 2, Elden Ring. I think we're finally going to get a release date for the Elder Scrolls 6, right?
Crazy.
6.
Yes.
We're gonna
And I
get
think
a-
it's
you said a release
release
date
date?
for it?
yeah. I think summer 2023.
You're
Oh,
fucking
no,
nuts.
no, 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 no,
You're
no, no.
This game hasn't even
insane.
started development. There's not
Maybe
even
Nah,
like
that game
summer
is-
like
You
2027.
said off the wall. There.
No, that's
that
off
was my
the wall
take.
for sure, and
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Definitely.
So yeah, that is crazy.
There's like some dev at Bethesda who heard this is like, Jesus Christ!
This guy, throw him in the prison with Dan!
How did he know? How did he know?
Ready.
Yeah, that's bonkers. I don't even think that game has started development yet. I think they're still all hands on deck with Starfield.
Yeah, pretty
Aside
much.
from like writing, maybe some writers are writing it, but like no actual creation.
Yeah, I think I mean, they're probably, doing concept art and designing the environments and planning out the story, but yeah, it's far off. From what
Well,
I heard,
it's
from what I
done and ready to
understand,
release.
It's
Done.
locked and loaded, ready to go.
From what I've heard, the only reason that even got
Actually.
announced in the first place was to please shareholders because they had
That would
nothing
make
coming
sense.
out that
No,
fall.
it was done 5 years ago, but they chose just to re-release Skyrim a million
you
more
go.
times.
The rumor was that that Starfield was locked and loaded and ready to go last year around holiday time, but Xbox already had Halo and Forza, so they didn't want to, like drown everything out. So they're like, you know what, let's save it for next holiday and just polish up the game. Turns out, no, it was not done and it's not ready to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's sort of the kind of studio that'll be like, yeah, we'll put it out and we'll let the users experience the bugs and we'll patch them. Or we'll let them patch
Features.
it. We'll let them
Very.
exactly its features.
Release is the final beta test.
I still remember playing Skyrim on launch and just seeing backwards flying dragons and being like, oh, this sure is a fucking Bethesda game, man.
Oh boy.
Going
Very
to
beautiful.
Whiterun and game just crashing.
Alright, well, y'all took my 2 Bethesda ones, so I'm gonna go back to Nintendo, and I'm gonna get a little crazy and say Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn remakes. I made the joke that those would get remade as soon as I finished playing them. They're both pretty lengthy games, so Fire Emblem remakes.
Awesome. I would
Very nice.
love that because I played Path of Radiance. Was that the GameCube one?
That was
I
the
always get those
GameCube
two
one.
mixed up. Yeah, so I played a lot of that one, but I never beat it. So I'd like to beat it. And I always wanted to play the other one, so I would love that.
Yeah.
Especially if they let you
Did you
get
see
rid
them
of
separate?
permadeath.
Separate or a bundle?
Let's bundle them just to go extra crazy. They would probably not bundle them, but
If it's
yeah.
just like a simple upres with a little bit of texture enhancement, I could picture them bundling them for $60.
Yeah, and I mean, I played them both recently, and for a GameCube and a Wii game, I honestly think they aged pretty decently. Like, it's not as polished as what you see today, But I was like, okay, like it's playable. It looks pretty good, I think, for a GameCube game that came out I don't know how long ago.
I
They
could
still
see
look
that
better
being-
than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So
Yeah.
Damn.
Literally true.
Cuts
it's
deep.
literally true. That's the sad part. But you just reminded me of something. A game I've been playing, Drakengard 3. It reminded me because you talked about a remaster, and I know as soon as I get done beating this game, there's just going to be a remaster on PS5 and Series X, or probably just PS5. But yeah, Drakengard 3. Just to say it real quick, how the hell did this game review so bad? It's fantastic. The writing is just like Nier. The characters are just like Nier. It's Nier. It is literally in the same universe as Nier. And
I don't think Nier's reviewed all that well either.
Well, no, the original Nier didn't, but I'm talking about Automata and Replicant. I feel like back in the day, I don't know what was wrong with video game journalists, but they could not comprehend what was good about these Japanese games. But nowadays, people understand. Because this game, Drakengard 3, I'm just thinking, if this would have come out right now, there is no way it would have reviewed as horrible as it did back then. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think.
I think like rolling up to a games journalist in like 2005 and be like, yeah, in order to really get this game, beat it 3 times. Find ending E. And
I actually ended up going down the rabbit hole.
Lose them after that.
I went down the rabbit hole and was watching people react to old reviews to Drakengard 3, and you could tell that like none of the reviewers understood that you had to beat the game more than once to
for sure.
like finish the game. But yeah, I mean
that still happens like nowadays. I remember when Resident Evil 2 Remake, the IGN review came out, and one of their original review before they took the video down was them complaining about how the second run was too similar. Turns out they didn't do Route B. They just took the same route.
Oh yeah. I remember
my
that.
God.
So, yeah, that still happens. They'll finish the game, the credits roll, they'll time to write my review, and that still happens. And like, I don't really blame somebody for doing that. Like when the credits roll, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write this review. So that happened probably a lot for those Drakengard games and Nier and all that.
Yeah, if anyone out there likes Nier Automata or Nier Replicant, because that's where the series really hit its stride with those two games, I highly recommend going back and playing Drakengard 3 on PS3. It runs shitty, but it's really good so far. So yeah, let's go ahead and who's next?
Me.
John, what do you got?
I've got kind of like another non-prediction, but it's a real one. I think I think there will be a brand new Mega Man game announced this year, but like
Yo,
not during like this like E3-ish period. I think it'll happen like later in the year, like maybe in the fall or something.
Okay.
I had that down on mine. New
Oh,
Mega Man
really?
game. Yeah,
Like
Okay.
like
that's like the only thing
there's
I had under Capcom.
there's like I mean Capcom's definitely working on more Mega Man in general, but I think there's like specifically a new video game coming because it was part of like the Nvidia leak. It was part of like the bigger Capcom leak from like a couple years ago now. Like it's been operating under the working name of Mega Man Match, and we don't really know what that's supposed to be like getting at. It's like kind of a big mystery what this new Mega Man game is, but like we know it exists, and this seems like the year it'll be announced.
Yeah. I can
Anything
pick-
but match 3.
Yeah,
Coming to your phone.
yeah.
Match the jewels with oh man. So
I
the
agree
blaster gun is
100%.
Dan, what's your number 4?
so no more safe bets. These next two are the reason why I'm in here right now.
All right. go ahead.
Xbox conference, Sega, the little eyeball on the screen nonsense ad that they have. They're gonna have some guy come out and he's gonna be like, the controller. What have we not used? He's gonna have a dual sense at the Xbox conference. It'd be real weird. He's gonna point to the microphone. He's gonna say, "C-Man,
It's gonna say what?
C-Man, C-Man, C-Man HD collection for the first time
take it.
ever. C-Man and C-Man 2 coming to the West in 4K. And they're gonna add ray tracing to the fish tank, which actually makes it worse. There's now like a reflection. It's harder to see the Seaman. Leonard Nimoy is in the reflection of the ray tracing.
And you could add your
Really
own
weird.
face in.
Exactly. You add your own face to the Seaman. You can become the Seaman. So yeah, that's
Seaman.
my big prediction. Seaman. It's gonna be running on Unreal Engine 5. Both games remade. It's not a remaster. Cut that. It's a remake.
You never
Seaman's
know. They
coming
were
back.
talking. They were just talking about that Dreamcast remake and how it's too expensive to do a mini
Hey!
console for it.
You think I'm kidding? Why am I here? Seaman. Count on it.
I think he's right. I
Safe
think
bet.
it's actually gonna happen.
100%. I'll be
See, man.
disappointed if it doesn't.
HD collection remake. Unreal Engine 5.
Hot.
Are you guys ready for my
Yeah.
number 4?
Do
Yeah.
it.
Number 4.
Dessert.
Sega, once again. They pop up on screen. They announced they're doing a partnership with Xbox, bringing a bevy of Sega and Atlas games to Xbox Game Pass,
Such as
including for the
Seaman.
first time Seaman, Persona, and Shin Megami Tensei on Xbox. I said
The original Seaman will be on Game Pass along with you'll have two Seamen.
Those are the main franchises, but there will be some other franchises included. But yeah, Sega and Xbox partnering up, and they're going to have a glorious old time in Game Pass. And Xbox is going to be like, hell yeah, we need more Japanese games. They have Atlas. Atlas are the kings. So there we go. Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Persona 5 Royal, both on Game Pass this year.
That'd be pretty big.
And
I mean,
Seaman.
And Persona 4, first time on console as well.
They
I mean,
might need to
yeah.
stagger the release of Seaman because that would overshadow everything else.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Exactly.
Too big of an announcement.
Yeah.
it is.
That one's saved for the very end, like the last one more thing.
That'll be after the weird eyeball Saita logo.
Yeah.
The
There
eyeball
we
will
go.
then the eyeball it'll zoom out from the eyeball and it'll be Seaman.
Actually, that's Harrison Ford introduces Seaman because it's right after.
Yeah, they couldn't get Leonard Nimoy back. So they got Harrison Ford. They got Harrison
He's already
Ford
gonna
for
be
the
there.
remake.
And then him and Tom Cruise are gonna introduce Seaman, and then that's how it's
And
gonna
The
work.
Rock is supposed to be there as well. At the
the
Jeff
hell?
at the Keeley show, The Rock and
Oh.
Seaman. Never know.
All right, who's next? Greg,
just
give me your
hope-
last one.
Yeah, I just hope the Keeley show isn't a bunch of shovelware. Anyways, okay, so Microsoft again. So if you guys don't remember, like a few years back, they did this like Minecraft presentation where they had somebody with smart glass, the eyewear,
Mhm.
the
Yeah, I
lenses
remember
come
that.
out on stage. Yeah, and so they had this like AR version of Minecraft where they could stand over and see into what they were building and then go inside of it and then explore it as like a normal character. So I do think that we will see something this year that is not Kinect, but is not smart glass, but is something eyewear related, because you have Apple doing theirs, you have PlayStation banking on PSVR 2, and then the Quest 2 has become more popular than ever as a VR device. So I have a strong feeling that Xbox is going to reveal something in that realm.
Okay.
HoloLens, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
hate to
HoloLens,
bring up
yeah.
Seaman again, but imagine Seaman in AR. just saying. Just saying. You can do
I
all
already
kinds of
have.
Seaman announcements here.
I was hoping that Greg was gonna like change his into somehow involving Seaman. Like it was gonna be like HoloLens, but the flagship title was gonna be Seaman.
Well, you pull back the cubes in Minecraft, and behind it is Seaman swimming towards you.
Exactly. So yeah, I
'Cause,
mean,
like-
I think they're done with HoloLens, but I guess we'll see.
Well, it's not. I haven't checked up on HoloLens lately, but I presume it's doing well. It's just that it's not being used for video game stuff. It's being used for like commercial stuff. Like they use it in like medical settings for like medical research and stuff like that.
Yeah. I at my local science center, there's random like Xbox Connects like up in the ceiling that like project stuff down like onto a screen. And I think it's funny that like those are being used in places you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
So that's probably exactly how this was. Like they made it
I
and
think
then
they've used them in airports too
other-
for like security.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
as long as you're not using a Kinect for video games, because that would be stupid.
Exactly. But I do actually want the Kinect. I've been trying to find one lately.
I sold mine years ago. I use it for like one game.
I
I
never
want to
had
play
it.
that Fable game.
I just picked up the Xbox One version of the Kinect not too long ago. I haven't used it though.
Let me get that.
Trade for a PS3 Slim.
PS3 Slim. Harrison Ford on Seaman on the
Oh
screen.
my gosh, Eric.
He's too quick. He's too
Eric
quick.
Lightning.
Who's next? Mary?
Me. Yeah.
Last one. Give it to us.
All right. Going big or going home with it. Mass Effect news. I'm desperate.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm basic in what I want because I always want the same stuff, but they always hold out on me, so I just have to keep my dreams alive.
Have you been disappointed for like the last two E3s? Because
Yeah.
like I feel like a lot of these games, have been teased for a long time.
Well, and they just recently confirmed the name for the next Dragon Age game, which I was like, we knew it was going to be Dreadwolf related. Like the hashtag at the Game Awards in like 2018 was hashtag Dreadwolf Rises. They're like, hey guys, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and I was like, okay, yeah, no
Kinda
surprise
random.
there.
Say
Yeah.
that.
Except the weird part is that the title is one word, Dreadwolf, and then everywhere else the character is the Dreadwolf, 2 words.
Yeah. So
That's just gonna bother me now, John. Why'd you tell me that?
I can just see this like brand new Mass Effect presentation. They're doing like a gameplay demo, and we have a new alien species in Mass Effect, the Seamen.
Oh my god.
I mean, they had the
Really
hand
just
arm, which were
going
like
hard
pretty
on
weird.
Seaman.
The hand arm were pretty weird little things. So
A Seaman and the Hanar hate each other.
oh, they're sworn
Despise
enemies.
one another. Yeah.
Damn it.
They have
John,
to solve a lot of conflicts there between Seamen and Hanar.
Yeah.
John, now that you told me that tonight, I'm gonna be like laying in bed thinking like, why did they not separate the words? Like what's the deal?
Maybe there's like some deep story significance there, you know?
Maybe they are separated, just not in the logo. Like maybe when they write it down, like in
The-
an article.
Hold on. I
The
have to go look at it
the
now.
BioWare post that announced it very specifically had both in
Oh
the
my God.
post.
Is
It had
the
the title
W
one way
capitalized?
and the character 2 words. Yeah, Dreadwolf is 1 word. I think only the D's capitalized in the title. And then when talking about the character, it's Dreadwolf, capital D, capital W, 2 words.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't like that.
Well, cancel it then.
Sus.
But yeah, who's next? Greg, final pick, or is it me?
I think we're at me.
I think we're at John.
John,
John.
yeah.
Man, I got nothing, so I gotta make up something again. Okay, all
We
right.
have
So
man.
So this is All right, so Summer Games Fest. Jeff Keighley walks out.
Shirtless.
He's naked. He's
All
just
right,
wearing Jordans.
Sure. All right, he walks out.
Only
naked, only
Jordans.
wearing Jordans, and he's like, "I did this because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing to draw attention away from the new Michael Jordan basketball game that we have today with the sponsored team, the
You can't-
Orlando
you can't
Seamen."
think of any-
The Orlando Seamen. That's their new announcement. They've been waiting for this brand new team name change or whatever.
God.
And they finally announced it at the show.
Eric, put Harrison Ford's fish face on the Chicago Bulls like uniform.
Said to have spent billions on Seaman.
Yeah, so like the Orlando basketball team, they just felt it'd be most appropriate to announce their new team name at the Game Awards, the Summer Game Fest. Like, it just made sense,
Yeah,
basketball team at our games event. And
I mean that's something Jeff would actually do. So let's not.
if they gave him enough money, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
No,
mean,
he'd only do it if
he has
Kojima
Imagine
asked.
Dragons. That's just as different. That's just as out there as basketball.
I mean, his affectionate quote unquote nickname is like the Cheeto Pope or whatever, right? So
The what?
Jeff
I don't know.
Keighley, isn't it? Oh no,
Cheeto
sorry, the Dorito Pope.
I don't remember.
None of you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
No.
I think you dreamt it. I think you dreamt this.
No, this is like
Is this
a famous
a fever dream that you had a few weeks ago, John.
Dorito
It's okay.
Pope is like a famous
I
meme.
take no part in this gaslighting.
If you type Dorito Pope into Google, it's the first image you see.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's an iconic image.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
And now I gotta
I
see it.
googled that. All I got was Jeff Keighley nude in a pair of Jordans.
And
Damn.
Seaman.
Oh.
Oh, I bookmarked it. My bad.
Um,
Discord's
yeah, I've
being
never seen
weird.
this image, but it's funny.
Man, it's been out there a long, long time. But
I don't know how I missed
Anyway.
Got his face.
so
it.
yeah,
Man, what's your last prediction
Okay, this is gonna be the one that closes out the whole show.
for the third
Some-
time? This is the third close.
The third closer.
A lot of hype after Seaman, but big announcement here. Running out in Unreal Engine 5, very exciting. Old man's to be wheeled out. He has no legs. Very somber music playing.
He has
You
no
know,
legs.
Yeah, no legs.
Casually said
People
that.
are like, "Oh man, this is gonna be a real tense, messed up game or something." So I roll up to the microphone on his wheelchair, pull down the microphone. Just he can't get upright, so pulls it down. He's still whispering on the microphone. Pepsi Man for new game consoles. Pepsi Man 2. And then he said it knocked over by Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man's gonna start flexing, and they're gonna show an Unreal Engine 5 gameplay demo of Pepsi Man. It's just the same game. It's just Unreal Engine 5 now.
Why does he have no
They're gonna
legs?
show
That's what I'm
exciting
stuck on.
details that.
Why is this guy
you
in
see-
a wheelchair?
The bit I was gonna say, the bit I was gonna expand on was it was the original guy from the Pepsi Man game. The guy between levels that would just drink Pepsis. Turns out 20 years of drinking Pepsi has really messed him up. So it's
Diabetes.
guy.
He lost
And
his
yeah, they're
leg.
gonna show an Unreal Engine 5 pet demo, and they're gonna see condensation off Pepsi Man. Big debate in the forums on whether or not it's gonna be water or soda. So yeah. Unreal
it's
Engine
not
5,
water.
Pepsi Man 2 for new game system.
They-
That's the actual name of the game, by the way. They put Unreal Engine 5 up front. It's fucking weird.
Does
Didn't
the
they just do,
original
like, a
Pepsi
checks-
Man? Does the original Pepsi Man play like the older Batman and like Batman Beyond? Like he's the guy in the chair who helps him on his missions.
No, it's just like a crappy runner. I replayed it recently, which is why I put it down here, and it's hard.
I'm talking about
So
Pepsi Man 2.
Man. Oh, Pepsi Man 2. Oh no, no. Again, it's just that exact same game, but now on Unreal Engine 5. Super detailed, crazy condensation effects and everything.
Same
They
mechanic.
got the same actor back. Like I said, no legs. 20 years of
Is
Pepsi.
he rolling on his chair or what?
But yeah, he has a wheelchair now. He rolls out between levels and does Pepsi Man for a PS5. And
Poor
he's-
guy.
He's being like forced to drink this stuff at this point. He's not happy. He's not happy.
he lost his legs to type 2 diabetes, but he's still under
Exactly, yeah.
contract, so
Yes, you can't. Stop drinking
Exactly.
Pepsi.
He's under contract. Keep drinking. That's what'll close out the show. Pepsi Man 2.
Yes.
Right after Harrison
Again,
Ford introduces.
that's why I'm
what
in
was the
here.
other one? Fishman or
I
Seaman?
dropped the details on Seaman HD Collection for Unreal Engine 5 and Pepsi Man 2 for Unreal Engine 5. I got thrown in here. He's gone. So
It's only fair.
All right, and my final prediction: Final Fantasy VII remake comes to Xbox. All right, guys, now let's end the show. I just want to do a boring one for the very end, but yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII remakes. It's got to come to Xbox sooner or later. Like, does Sony keep paying for exclusivity or what? Like, they didn't even publish the game. So they're literally paying out of their pocket to keep this game off of Xbox.
wouldn't
do it.
surprise me if Square, in all honesty, gets gobbled up by Sony. I feel like that relationship is real tight, and if there was ever for them to be like, yeah, Microsoft's gobbling up all these people, let's grab a publisher. That's probably like a safe bet, you'd think, right? You know, you got all these JRPGs then. I don't know. Switch owners are freaking mad, but
Oh yeah,
you
like
know.
the thought of it horrifies me.
Switch owners are gonna be. To go
Live
back to the
Alive.
earlier comment, the Pixel remaster, it ain't coming to Switch now.
I don't know, dude.
Well, yeah, this has been a great, nice, extended episode quite a bit, which is good. I had a feeling it was going to be a longer one. Dan, it's been great having you. Thanks for bringing all the Seaman talk.
Exactly. I'm happy to
that's
bring
what
Seaman talk.
Keep it coming.
The next time somebody is absent, which happens fairly often, we'll just use Dan as our replacement person.
There you go. He bring in the hyper Seaman guy. That's my new bit at this point.
We're not going to be pushed in the algorithm at all because they definitely don't think
What's
we're saying
wrong with-
Seaman.
Oh, whatever. See, that's a bias that the new Seaman for Unreal Engine 5 we'll have to really get over that, I think, as a society.
All right. Well, this has been Spot Dodge. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. It's been a great show. And if people want to find you, Greg, where can they go?
You can find me over on PC Invasion. That's where my bylines are when I occasionally write news. As well, you can find me over on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and why do I always miss one? And Twitch at Dynamite_Giraffe over on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube at Dynamite_Giraffe.
Awesome. And what about you, Mary? Where can people go to find you? What are you up to?
You can find me hanging out on the Destructoid Show over on TikTok, where we are currently giving away a PS5, an Xbox Series X, and a Nintendo Switch OLED. No winner has been chosen yet. It's still open. It's still anybody's game. Head over to the TikTok, check it out. But you can also follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Mary Wants a Cookie.
Sounds good. Now, John, what about you?
Find me crusading for Seaman now, apparently. Like, I've been evangelized, so... well, you can find me writing stuff at The Escapist. I do stuff over there, go figure. You can find me on Twitter at my name, John Frisha, and I'm making a game called Boss Saga, where you play as the bosses and you go and beat up the heroes and stuff. And that's boss-saga.com if you want to check that game out.
Awesome. And finally, Dan, what about you? What are you up to? Where can people find you?
I mean, I'm in I said do a bit of, I'm in prison, but you can find me on Destructoid.com. I haven't written a review in like 5 months, but you can find my writing back there. I've been busy with the Destructoid show on TikTok and Snapchat, and it's been kind of eating up a lot of my time, but I might start streaming this summer, so maybe find me on Twitch. Maybe I'll stream Seaman.
Do it.
Really capitalize on that.
You've really cornered the market on this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm really cornering the
Pepsi
Seaman
Man.
market. That's my new brand.
All right, and for me, you can find me on the Destructoid TikTok and Snapchat. Snapchat, I'm not sure how much longer that's gonna last. Snapchat's not that cool, but TikTok, we're making tons of content. We're doing reactions to all of these showcases for the next week now, so tons of reactions. There's already like a handful up. Definitely go check those out. And yeah, like Mary said, we're giving away a PS5, an Xbox Series X, and a Switch OLED model, and they were very expensive. So please, someone go play this game and try and find them. Or find the letters and learn the secret word. And yeah, this has been Spot Dodge. We will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.